Hey, what's up, guys? Joker here. Thought about giving some early impressions of Endwalker. I'm 86. I would show my character and stuff like that. I don't want to do any spoilers of that are kind of crazy. So I mean, like showing my main quest and stuff like that. So I'm just doing this full screen, and I think it's gonna be better anyway for enjoyment. Am I gonna spoil some things? Yes, but I'll make it more clear if I'm gonna spoil some things. So for now, some non-spoiler stuff. So I'm 86. Um, what can I say about the paladin abilities? I like it a lot. I have done one trial in two dungeons, and I do like how now you're healing a little bit. You get those abilities a little later. I think it was 84. You get the ability where like you start using Holy Spirit and other abilities. You'll heal yourself. I like it. It's kind of useful. It's not like super powerful, like just using clemency on yourself, but it is a factor. It is kind of helpful. Um, how do I like the story so far? I think the story to me is disappointing, and I'll leave it there. If I do say anything, it'll be spoiler. So, um, gameplay, I don't think is a problem. Dungeons and trials, I thought both were very interesting. Both had mechanics that were, cool, haven't seen before. And there's the dungeons weren't really challenging. I used trust just to skip the queues because there's no DPS and there's no healers. There's a bunch of tanks in Endwalker. Let me just make that clear. There's a bunch of tanks. In the spoiler part, I'll talk about it, but everybody seems to be playing Reaper and Sage. There's a ton of tanks. So, yeah, I mean, I had to skip the queue and use trust. And the trust system makes the dungeons a joke. They do everything perfect, so you don't really have to do anything. They do all the mechanics too, so you know where to go and stuff like that. So I can't really say anything about the dungeons. I can say that the mechanics are cool and unique, but I'll get into spoiler territory if I have to explain a little more. Um, so far, I think Charlene is a cool environment. I think Garlemald was a cool environment. I thought Razat Han was a good environment, and I don't count those as spoilers because they were shown in trailers. They were shown many times. We know where we're going. We also know we're going to the moon. That was a cool place too. Um, I don't count that as spoilers because they were shown many times. We know where we're going. Um, Now, on that point, I think I can talk about. I just want to get into spoilers right now because I think that's where the conversation is going to be interesting and it's going to be way better. So, this right here is spoilers. Everything from here is spoilers. Okay? Spoilers. Here's your time. Okay, now I'm going to go into spoilers. The story I think is terrible. I mean, not terrible. I think it's disappointing because, let's be honest, they got rid of Zodiark really early. The quests were 84 and we did Zodiark and it's like what is going on exactly? So that was it. The fight was also kind of not epic like Emmett Selk or Elidibus. He held even the ultimate weapon and stuff like that. To me, I didn't really feel the weight of it. Shimayu, to point out another one, I didn't feel the weight of it. Um, I felt the weight of it because I 8-man tanked it, and it was a pain in the ass. But that's because I 8-man tanked it because there were no healers in DPS. I mean, we would have to wait for an hour or even more. Even in Party Finder. I mean, like there were tons of tanks. We found the tanks, everyone. They're an Endwalker playing the game. Um, so I 8-man tanked it. We did it. It was awesome. I actually thought that experience was pretty cool. We synced it. We didn't unsync it. Um, I thought the trial was cool. I thought it was really cool. Mechanically, all the different things that were happening. I thought it was really cool. But like, to be honest, it wasn't really overtly complicated. Like, we figured it out after one or two attempts. We figured out like all the mechanics, like the star mechanic. I'm not gonna really go too much into them. I'm just saying general names. Star mechanic, the twists. I mean, you figure it out pretty quick. I mean, unless you're dumb, but like it's pretty easy to understand. The dungeon mechanics, like I said, it's once you see it, you get it. So it doesn't take really that long to understand these mechanics. These aren't extreme trials anyway, so it's not like you're gonna be here for a long time. We only took a long time because we were 8 tanks trying to figure it out how to heal. Like we had to do this perfectly, otherwise we're done. Um, 8 DPS I doubt can do it unless it's like you have 3 red mages or something like that. But you know, we 8 man tanked it. Um, so yeah, Tower Za and Tower Babel, those were the 2 dungeons. I thought they were really cool. Aesthetically, they were really sick. I really liked it a lot. Um, so yeah. Also talking about Garlemald, meeting up with the Islamabad contingent. That's what they called it. It was all the people that went there to go help Garlemald and stuff like that. So let me talk about Garlemald. I liked the story and the philosophy that they were going into. The pride of a nation. That's what the Garleans were experiencing. That's why they didn't want help from anyone else. They wanted to figure it out themselves, and I can kind of respect that. I kind of see it. Um, I won't. I'll get into that because it's spoilers. The guy you meet, Euless, crying at the fire, realizing it's like, oh, with Emmanuel and Sickert. I mean, I thought that was sick. I mean, I thought it was a real heartfelt moment, and of course they ruined it after that. But whatever. Um, the radio in Dragon Scales being like wards against the temperament was a cool story thing. It explains a lot, and it wasn't as plot armory as some other things that have been experienced throughout the game. There was actually like good reasoning behind it. So yeah, and then Anima, the Anima fight was in a dungeon, and I thought that was really stupid. I thought that was really dumb. The Magus sisters were also the dungeon boss. I thought that was dumb. But again, I haven't seen the rest of this expansion. I mean, who knows what the rest of the trials are? If we're starting with Zodiark, that's our first trial. That's our baseline. We can only go up from here. It's probably going to be Heidelin as the level 90. And I'm thinking from what I'm seeing from the story, Xenos is probably going to be in the patch quests as your like last guy to like wrap up. Wrap up Endwalker. I was about to say Shadowbringers. That's how I'm feeling like how they're doing the story. I don't really know, but that's been a theory that's been out there a long time, and that's not really spoilery. Yeah, that's how I felt. That like it was gonna be honestly like you kill Heidelin or something like that, and you kill Zodiark, but I didn't know the order. It seemed weird. It makes more sense why they do Zodiark first. I'll talk about Charlene. I thought it was a really chill, pretty relaxed environment. Um, the flower changing colors throughout the story. You get like some flower thing that Heidelin gives you. She's like, keep this up your ass or something like that. And you do, and it changes colors. There's got to be some meaning to it. I think they're gonna plot armory, power, friendship type thing. That you see in anime, where this flower just somehow miraculously saves you or something like that. I could clearly see that. It's gonna be the power of friendship or something like that. Now let's go into some bad things. The following stealth modes, you see these following things a lot, like a lot more than I want it. And what I mean by that is, it's like, oh, this person, you need to follow them, you need to stay a certain distance behind, you can't be caught. It's like, this isn't the game. This is a weird thing to put in your game. Um, it's really bad. I think it slows the game down way too much. I really just don't enjoy it. I don't think a lot of people. I don't think a lot of people say it's a highlight or an enjoyment. Um, but yeah, I mean, there's not much to that. And then this is another big spoiler thing, but it's like you finally figure out why in the trailer your body was sitting on the throne in the Tower of Babel. It's because Xenos knocks your soul out, and again, this is spoilers. Knocks your soul and puts it in a different body, and then you have to play through this section where you're in that Imperial. I mean, they're Garlic, just a random Garlean person, um, and you're trying to just figure. just get your way back to your friends and stuff like that. It is so bad. It is freaking horrible. I don't know why they put that in the game. It is so bad. It makes no sense to playing as some garbage can character who can't do anything. It's just stupid. It just wastes time. I don't like it. I thought it was a horrible thing to do too. Garlo mode for the I mean, it's kind of weird. Like that mode is like just the epitome of so far my experience. It's like why are they doing this? It makes no sense. It goes back to the Zodiac thing. Why is Zodiac so damn early in the story? You're fighting Zodiac, let alone killing him. You're fighting Zodiac, and it didn't feel weighty at all. It it felt very like wow, I just killed another character, and it's like what? And it is the same thing with Anima. It's the same thing with the Magus sisters. It's like, guys, these are primals, especially Zodiac. It's supposed to be the big, big, big primal, and you just swat him around like a fly, and it's like, oh, he's gone. Okay. Uh, it's like, what is going on in this story? Again, I'm like halfway. I want to say halfway through because I'm not even in quests that are 85. I want to say I'm halfway through. I hope there is actually more to this story, but it. I think we all know where it's going. It's you're gonna kill Heidelin, and that just doesn't sit well because you literally shot the bed on the first half, and what are you gonna do in this second half? Because we all know where it's going. It's like, so what are we doing here? Is it just because we all know where it's going that you just were like, okay, let's just get this part out of the way, put some weird philosophy thing, and then you kill Heidelin or something like that. And also another bad thing was the moon. I think it's right after you kill Zodiac, you basically go into an anime filler arc with these the moon bunny people, and I really thought. I mean, I thought that entire part was stupid. It literally felt like an anime filler arc. That's the best way you can describe that. Um, they made some like big environment that was empty, and you had to go run back and forth through that empty environment. I hated that. I hated that. It was so bad. It was clearly filler. Um, so I mean, let me talk about some good things. I said story. Yeah, it's going in the direction I think a lot of people thought, but I think there's some good, interesting things that are pretty thought provoking stuff like that. They have some philosophical angles that they go through, and mostly in Garlemald, that's where you see it. Um, I think that was really the best part. I think Ratzat Han was also a really good part too. Um, then like I said, new powers. Hey, they moved the Aether Compass to this collection part, so it's not in your bag anymore. You can put it on your hotbar and you use it. You can spam it. I guess that was another good thing. I mean, I wrote notes down. Um, Now I'm gonna go into even more spoiler things. So this is still continuing that. Then Daniel being Amon. I thought that was a crazy thing. They did say to play the Crystal Tower. I'm pretty sure so far that's basically the only reason. It's to so you remember Amon. But if you did duty roulettes for alliance raids, you probably played that like 300 times already. So yeah. Um, I mean, I don't know what to say about it. I mean, I thought that was an interesting thing to be honest. Ben Daniel's motivation, I mean, basically was still the same where he's just crazy. So I mean, but it gave a little more character and background to why he's crazy. So there's that. Um, Vitra being alive and the ruler of Ratzadhan, I thought that was an interesting thing. So the dragon that was in that trailer was Vitra. I thought he was saying like Vritra or Mitra or something. I thought it was just a random dragon, but it was Vitra. That Needhog and Harelsweger's brother still alive. I'm pretty sure in this story it was like he went off east and never came back. Well, I guess he was still alive. And he's a pretty docile version. I think he's more like Herausflager, or however you say that. Um, he was like at peace with the people that were there. He actually brought peace to that land. I thought that was really interesting and kind of a cool thing. Um, but yeah, I think that's all I have in my notes, and that's all I'll say. I have been pretty negative about it. Um, I think it's well warranted. I mean, we're coming off Shadowbringers, and Heaven's Sword was really good, and Stormblood was also really good. They all had really, really solid stories, and to me, story is the biggest thing. That's what I'm gonna judge this on. I mean, I'm not a person who's gonna do judge it on raids or EX trials. That's all part of the game, but that all comes also at the end, in the end game. That's end game stuff. I'm talking about stuff that you can tangentially see right now. And right now, I mean, all you can go off of really is the story. And the story really to me is probably one of the worst. It's definitely so far the worst story in the Final Fantasy 14. From A Realm Reborn, Heaven Sword, Stormblood, and Shadowbringers. I think it's the worst one by far. And is it a factor of everyone already knows what's going to happen? Maybe. Is it a factor of it's been written bad? Definitely, because it has been written bad. Um, you get into these cutscenes where you're literally just sitting there for 5, 10 minutes and nothing is literally said. That is how I felt about it. Literally, is nothing said. Like, to me, the big spoilers: Van Daniel being a mom, the future being alive. Those were big points. Those were cool points. But it's like it's weird. It's like those points are just swallowed up by all the bad, generic, straightforward things. I think honestly, Zodiac being your first trial, like really, we're putting him in the equivalency of Titania, who is your first trial in Shadowbringers. I think that's nuts. I think that's absolutely nuts. That means he's supposed to be the easiest trial, your first trial. I mean, he's just a stepping stone to get your feet wet in Endwalker. To this is your first real use case of seeing new mechanics, your new abilities and stuff like that. And to me, that just doesn't sit well. Could he come back? Maybe. I mean, that's always a possibility. How can you breathe on the moon? I saw some people debating this in chat. Guys, it's called plot armor. I mean, like, come on, let's not beat around the bush. I know I sound negative about it, but I am enjoying my time. But like I said, story to me does matter, and I don't. So far, I think the story is the worst out of all of them so far. Definitely, it's one half, but um, let's see what happens in the second half, and even in the patch quests. I mean, you got to count those two to go to the story. Um, but yeah. Also, I'll talk about crafting. I need to level my crafter. Uh, Probably also need to level my samurai at my old job. I'm doing that right now. But yeah, I still haven't gotten access to the role quests or the delivery. I do have access to that, but the role quests I don't have access to it. So I actually don't know when those come through. I don't know if I missed that flat out. It's supposed to be in Radzat Han. Um, so far I haven't gotten access to it. Now I think I'm about to get access to it. I'm pretty sure, but also I'm at quests that I think are 84, 85, and you don't have access to the Aethernight Plaza in Radzadhan proper. The land it's in called Thanavir, you do have Aetherites there, but you don't. So I think that was also a weird thing. Like why don't I have access to the role quest? But yeah, I think I've gone on long enough, talked about it. Um, just looking through my notes. Oh yeah, Alize and Alfino's mom. She's nice. Their dad's an asshole. Um, but I clearly understand why he's an asshole. It's pretty obvious. Like I said, most of this stuff is obvious. Um, like they make it pretty obvious why he's an asshole. They're like, oh, after Alphinaud and Alize were born, he was like more dedicated to being a douche. And pretty obvious he wanted to protect his kids, something like that. You'll find out more in the story. I think I'm just gonna leave it there. 20 minutes seems pretty long. If you guys like the video, give it a like. Also subscribe. Stay tuned. I'm going more into Endwalker content. I know it was pretty negative, but this is just the first video. But yeah, also check out my Twitch stream, twitch.tv/Joker, JJOKUR. It's spelled like my Twitch, my YouTube channel. And leave a comment. You're free to disagree. To me, these are my opinions. See you in the game.